Hey, so what's good, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. It's your girl, Natasha Nisha. So on this one, I'll be speaking about Kanye West, and I'm just speaking on him because a while back he professed to be a Christian, and now his fruits are visible. So I just want to unpack some of what I see. And personally, like when he professed to be a Christian, and like when he made the album Jesus is King, and he had that choir and those Sunday services, etc., etc. Okay, fine. I wanted to give him a chance, because we don't know what God is doing in a person's heart. I didn't want to be judged, man. So I wanted to give him a chance and basically let it play out. I'm a person that takes a while before I come to my conclusions. So now I'm starting to see that many of his fruits are visible, and even some of the things he says. But what really stands out for me, especially as like a female, is like this new marriage now. Fair enough, he divorced Kim. I'm not gonna judge on that. Yes, the Lord has divorced, but sometimes the people that we join in marriage union with, or not people that God would have us be with. It's whether a case of unequally yoked or whatever it may be, and that is not what I'm speaking of. But anyhow, he's now married to Bianca, and it's so sad to see her like walk off naked in public, like is now a married woman, and then also he's allowed her to build a relationship with his daughter North, and that puts her in a place of being a role model of sorts to the little girl. While on the other hand, like she struts around here in public like half dressed, like almost naked, and I don't know how Kanye, as a professing Christian, condones any of this. How does he allow that? Because especially with children, what you put in is what you're gonna get out, and so there's just that really doesn't sit so right with me. And then also the fact that now he's married her, Bianca, beautiful Bianca. So it means that he loves her. But then how does he show his love toward her? Like he lets her walk naked out in public, and he allows her to glorify her fleshly body as a Christian. Like that's not our way. And like, shouldn't her body be sacred to him, and shouldn't he be the protector of her nakedness, her body? Like he has her uncovered in public, and it doesn't look like love to me. It almost looks like he's using or even misusing her for some kind of clout or attention or attachment. I know that he here is the biggest star, but this thing with men and their egos, like, and also it looks like some part of it is how he remains relevant, like he remains like popular, like he's so great, like he's the alpha or top of the food chain, he's a leader, he's like the one to follow, he's an example. So all that speaks to his ego. I don't know if it's a male thing to control and possess a woman, because that's almost how it looks, that relationship dynamic. Um, and it almost looks extremely narcissistic, you know. Yeah, it's like his ego and pride here is getting fed by this attachment, you know, and that's what she provides basically. And that is not love. That is not love. And it's so sad. And also, yeah, this is worldly also. And you know, the thing about Kanye is also, it's like he's setting the tone, you know, like he is somebody who now is like after being seen as a role model, especially regarding beauty standards for women, just as he did with Kim, you know, like he had Kim as his muse, Kim, his first wife, and like he used her as his muse, and this is like how he put himself in that role of setting beauty standards for women. You know, he like sets the temperature and the tone out here, and that is very worldly, you know, because then his example also is like lewd and nakedness, glorifying our bodies again, and that is not Christian. That is not our way as Christians. We know that we're called to come out of the world, and you can't do both. It's either you, if you love the world, then the love of the Father is not in you, you know. And many are deceived these last days, thinking that it is okay for a Christian person to, you know, like walk out like that, and that is not our way, you know. There we see that he walks in the flesh, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, the pride of life, you know, and those are things that he partakes of, um, temptations, basic temptations of which we are called to overcome as a Christian, you know, but he doesn't overcome them in that regard. And yeah, so his spirit man, you know, KanyeYE's spirit man, Ye, spirit man, doesn't show any fruit of being submitted to the Holy Spirit, you know, like, yeah, so I don't see any leadership or guidance of the Holy Spirit in his life's fruit, you know, and also the Bible tells us like friends with the world is enmity with God. So I'm saying a lot. I made some notes on this. So yeah, it's very important as Christian people who we esteem to be role models in our life, you know, who we look up to, and because when we put them in those positions, many times they become an example for us and we emulate their walk. You know, we follow on the same path they're going. And if they're going on the wrong way, if they're walking on a very wide road, you know, then, and we know where that road leads, and then if we're gonna put them in that position, we're gonna emulate and follow on the very same path, you know. So it's important that we come to the place where we discern the spirit of man, especially those who we give some honor and a place of authority in our lives, a position, you know, and yeah. And also, I just want to mention that, you know, the same spirit that, like, influences a man, or that a man allows to influence him, the spirit will be present in all your works in life. It will be the spirit leading in all your works, whether it's your music, your speech, whatever. This spirit, you know, will be prevalent like throughout. And yeah, so who are the people that we having influence and impact our lives and our lives walk? We really need to you know, be aware of this. And also I have here, just to clear up any confusion, like just going to church doesn't make you a Christian, you know. Good living also just doesn't make you a Christian. If you're like generally a good person, And that doesn't make you a Christian. What makes you a Christian is the spirit behind you, the spirit that leads you, and and having come to the place where you submitted to the Holy Spirit. So if the Holy Spirit is now in a place of leadership and guidance in your life, that's something that makes you a Christian. It's not about yeah, your maybe naturally you just a good mannered person, or you can even pretend to be a good mannered person, or even fake it like going to church or whatever have you. But that doesn't make you a Christian. It's that spirit. Have you submitted? Have you come to a place where you submitted to the Holy Spirit in your life and what have you? So just a few more notes that I wrote on this whole Kanye thing, and what I noticed, like with this relationship with him and Bianca, like he has her out in public and he is not protective of her beauty. I don't want a man like that who's not protective of my beauty. He allows me to walk out, and whether I'm an embarrassment, whether I'm shaming myself, by the way I'm dressed, he doesn't care. There's no like respect and like he doesn't see her beauty and her essence. It's almost like he doesn't value it enough to protect it. It's not worth that much to him, and it's so sad because like it's almost as if um she's just some common thing. Her beauty is just it's commonized, it's just made common and cheapened, that like she can dress naked, and then every man can look at her and lust, and like it cheapens her jewel. And as a woman, we need a man that will like protect us and cover us and value us and see our worth and see our beauty. And yeah, so he's not a protective covering in my opinion. Like he doesn't truly see her as precious. Like yeah. And then like even like within our body, I have here like our brain and our heart, they so fragile, they so precious, that God has them like within our skull, like protected. Our heart is protected. It's not just like here on our shoulders, and our brain is just not here, like out here, just visible. It's like protected. It's covered up because God deems those parts of our body like precious, kind of a thing. And he has her walking around like so naked, uncovered. It's almost as if she's just a playful toy thing. Like it's like almost he's saying like we just having fun the way they moving. It's almost like they just having fun. And I noticed that it's like she's in her masculine. She hasn't come to a place where she can like relax in her feminine. And it almost looks like she, as beautiful as she is, also like has some healing to be done. Like she's just yeah. Either way, she looks unhealed, and she's like in her masculine, like the way she walks out, she prowls, with her big, like the masculine men, like they walk with their bare chest and like, and she's like almost the same, like she's like in her masculine, but then she's married and she has this man, yay, beside her. So like, what? How can I be married and still need to be in my masculine? Then what role why aren't you the man in your masculine and having me relax in my feminine kind of a thing? It's like some questions, like she prowls around, she walks, it almost looks as if like she's out here also looking for her own attention and like admiration, like from the public or whoever sees her. But the worst part also is that like what I've heard is that like it's work for her. She's his muse, like so she's working, and working is kind of in your masculine. It's known to be in your masculine. So yeah, but like so basically he is what's that word that I wanted to say now? He is, oh my goodness. Yeah. So he is attached and like benefiting off of her. She's like working, so he's like possessing and controlling her, like kind of a thing. If you can get where I'm going with this, but it's not good for a marriage relationship. We know that Christ um speaks about marriage, and we know that us as a church or his bride, and we know that he loves us and he gives our life for us, the church, his bride. And that's not what I see, like the dynamic in this KanyeYE and Bianca marriage. And it's all sad because, as in he says he's Christian. That's the only reason why I feel I have a right to speak on this. And it almost looks like, like, yeah, so she's like prowling around, enjoying the attention, working, being amused and trying to sell a product. Is the clothing or whatever. Like there was one picture I saw where she's in a swimming costume, silver or gold, that he designed, like really out in public like that. But either way, it's like he doesn't fill up her love tank that she now has to go out and get it filled up on her own, like seeking this admiration and this attention out on the prowl in public. Like that's how it looks to me. Like she needs now to satisfy herself, fill up her own love tank, and some part where it looks like she enjoys her attention. That's why I come in with the unhealed part. Either way, it also had me thinking of, that relationship with the pimp and their girl, like exploitation kind of a thing. And it's so super sad because, like, yeah, man, I'm married. I married you, and this is like what you're giving me. Like, it takes away from the sanctity and just the yeah, it takes away from marriage as God um designed it. So there's that. So I'm just gonna recap. So I said, as a Christian now, the fruits that I'm seeing now is not Christian, and the love part that he loves her and he has her out like this. And then also there's that role model thing that I just briefly touched on, like with North. So like I guess when she's with the child, she's clothed, but then when the child goes on social media or looks wherever, and then she sees pictures of another like double life, and the other side she sees pictures of her like naked, the picture that we see, and like, yeah, the child maybe can aspire to be like, oh, even our mom. So there's something to do with the role models as a Christian. I don't think some of them are the best. And then, yeah, as I just mentioned, also it almost looks like, yeah, so the love part is not the love that we know as a Christian. And then a lot of it is just worldly to be Christian, like just the way he walks it out. And it looks like it just feeds his ego, that manly thing. It boosts his ego, having her. She's like just this toy, and he gets like this clout and relevance from the attachment to this young thing. She almost looks helpless, almost looks exploited, and yeah, that's not godly. That's not godly, and so that's all for this one. These are just some of my thoughts, and personally, yeah, I don't want to be in a relationship like that, and those are no Christian truths. And before I close here, I just want to say that I love them both, kind of. It's not coming from a place of hate, and yeah, so maybe this is something that we can learn and start to see through, what people say many a times, because it's not always the words, it's the actions. So it's all for this one. You're going to session again. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.